Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. So about
a long periodically time
ago, I did a collab video with my lovely friend Abby, and it was my unexpected favorites. So in that video I talked about products I didn't really expect to love when I first got them, but then I liked them a lot and they became unexpected favorites, as the name would imply. But in the comments of that video someone suggested this really great idea to do this video. So today I'm going to bring you guys my unexpected failures. Things that I bought expecting to really love, and then for one reason or another they did not. So today I want to share those products with you guys, like my expectations for them and then why they fell short. I'm trying a new side pony thing. I don't know how I feel about it, but full details of this look should already be on Instagram. It's pretty simple. I don't have a ton of the products, but whatever I do have I'll hold up, and if I don't have it I'll flash it on screen. That's just because most of the time when things don't work for me, and most of these did not, I usually declutter them. So a lot of these I don't have anymore, but I'll flash them on screen. I think that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you to whoever suggested this video, and let's do this. Alright, so the first thing I want to mention is something fairly recent, and I almost am kind of wary to mention this one because I don't not like this product. I do really enjoy this blush a lot, it's just it was a big womp womp for me. This is the Tarte Beauty Monochrome Moment Velvet Blush, and I was so excited about this launch. I think you guys know for like 2 months before I got this one for Christmas, it was like all I was talking about. It was on my wish list. I knew that I wanted to try out this blush formula because I just really love the entire aesthetic that Tarte Beauty has. He loves the dew. So we found a soul brother. It's a velvet blush, matte but with a little bit of luminosity to it, and I loved the color selections that they had. I think it's a lovely blush, but I don't think it's anything special. And I don't think I placed unrealistic expectations on this blush. I tried it. I was like, oh, this is good, but it doesn't blow me away. And I feel like that was what I was expecting out of this line and this blush formula. So I spent a couple months just really anticipating this and expecting this release to just blow me out of the water.
and she's nothing like that. She's nothing of the sort.
Tarte London is one of my favorite brands, and I think they are really underrated, except when they send PR packages looking like this. What was the reason? Their formulas are so good. I know they are more popular in the UK, but they are available in Sephora, and I feel like Sephora brands in general would have more hype around them. But I started trying out Tarte products last year, I think, and something that everybody really recommended were their highlighters. I'd swatched their highlighters before in stores, and I really enjoyed them. So last year they came out with the Jessica Rabbit collection. Like a very pearly, almost like white/cream basic toned highlighter, which is what I love. And just judging by how everyone liked the other formula, I was really expecting this one to be the same and also just blow me away. So it made it into my worst of 2019, so if that tells you anything. The Jessica Rabbit highlighter was the chalkiest, most powdery highlighter I've ever used, to a point where I would put it on my face and it would give me less of a shine and more of a white stripe of powder sitting on top of my cheekbone and not sinking in and glowing like I wanted it to. So when I put it in my worst of 2019, I had half the people saying the regular Tarte highlighters are so much better, the other half of people saying no, they all suck. So I don't really know how to feel anymore. Yeah, that was a huge disappointment. I really felt like, just going by the shade and the formula that I'd heard about, that it was going to be a huge favorite for me, and it was literally the worst thing I've ever put on my cheekbone. So yeah, let's throw it all the way back to 2018 and the existential horror that was the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Fall collection. And especially because 2019 was filled with so much more drama, I think everyone forgot about it, especially when the lipstick thing happened. In the moment, the entire Vault collection thing was so crazy. And I think a lot of other people had very high expectations for the Vault collection, just because the original Jaclyn Hill palette was one of my favorite palettes in my collection. This is something that I use regularly. I love the shades in here. I like the formula. It's a really versatile palette. So judging by the fact that at the time this was my favorite palette in my collection, I was really expecting the Vault collection to be my new holy grails. Especially because I watched Jaclyn's reveal video. She is such a good salesperson. She's really good with adjectives, just describing things in a way that makes you want to buy it.
This is my favorite beauty blender ever. I mean, it's a beauty sponge. It's not by Beauty Blender, it's by Morphe, but
I think I got a good batch of Vault palettes, but those palettes just did nothing for me. They didn't make it to my favorites. They just didn't draw me in, and I now recognize that as me kind of subconsciously recognizing the Vault palettes for what they were, which was kind of a cash grab, capitalizing off the success of this palette to come out with 4 completely non-tangential palettes that didn't really relate at all under the name of Jaclyn Hill and Morphe to sell things under the guise that it would be the same formula as this. And even though I didn't absolutely hate it, just because I love this palette so much, I was really very much underwhelmed. The Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Concealer is something I bought because everybody was talking about it. When I think about it now though, I do remember like a lot of people were doing sponsorships for the Fenty Beauty concealer. I'm not saying that they were being dishonest about loving the concealer by any means. I was just hearing about the concealer so much from different places, sponsored ads and other people's genuine favorites alike. I was hearing that it was the new Shape Tape, full coverage, amazing, blendable perfection. Shade range, beautiful. Rihanna as a whole, transcendent. I was ready for that concealer to rock my world and become my new Too Faced Born This Way. It was the worst. When I tell you that concealer made me look about 6,000 years old. I just don't like the formula of that concealer at all. I felt like it was really very crepey on the under eyes, very heavy. I tried it out and I was like, is this your king? Is this your king? Sometimes I could get it to look like mediocre on my skin, but other times it just looked downright awful. I was very confused because everyone was loving that concealer for like 2 months after it came out. Then after that initial promotion period where like Fenty was promoting that concealer hard, I feel like I just didn't really see anybody talking about it afterwards, including the people who were part of the sponsorship campaign when it first launched. I felt like that concealer just got buried under everything else. And I definitely should have like read some reviews from dry skin people because it's so bad. Ofra is a brand that's very well known for the glow. Her highlighters are like one of my favorite formulas of highlighters ever. So they came out with 2 dewy luminous primers earlier last year. I don't even wear primer all that often. I usually just like put on my makeup on top of my sunscreen, which is the last step of my very extensive morning skincare routine. I feel like my skin is already hydrated enough and that's a good enough base. When I do wear primers, my favorite thing is to go for like a glowy, dewy primer that's actually adding something to my makeup. So I was very excited about this formula. It doesn't really do anything. Most dewy primers, for example, the Becca First Light is my favorite one, or the Ule Henriksen Banana Bright. I feel like as soon as you put them onto the skin, you see this immediate glowy result. This, I put it on and I was expecting like that same like nice beaming luminous complexion. It kind of just looked like I put a very thin layer of moisturizer on, like very small amount of glow, which is covered immediately as soon as you put on any foundation. This did not really deliver for me, and then in terms of like actually improving the wear of my makeup, did not see anything along those lines either. So especially because I had such high expectations for Ofra to deliver the glow, fell short. Last summer was the summer of foundation where every brand was releasing a new line of foundations. I tried to limit myself to trying only 2. So I tried the Anastasia one. That became my holy grail favorite. And then the second one I tried was the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation. I did not like the Pro Filter Matte Foundation. That was a nightmare for me and my dry skin. For years, we'd been pushing Rihanna to come out with a more dewy hydrating foundation. Same amazing shade range, so I was very excited about this launch. And kind of like the Patrick Ta Beauty Blush, I don't hate this, like, at all. I do think it's nice, I do use it from time to time, but I'm not blown away by it, and I don't enjoy it a lot. Not something I would repurchase. And especially having tried the Anastasia foundation that same summer, I was just like, yeah, I don't have time for this. So between the 2 foundations, which I bought at the same time, I was like, okay, one of you guys is going to be my new favorite. And it was not this one. I was expecting it to be, but it was not this one. Then another foundation, the Laura Mercier Flawless Luminaire Foundation. I know for a while Tati was really hyping up the Flawless Fusion matte version of the foundation, which I tried, did not like that on my skin. Again, Laura Mercier is a brand very well known for their complexion products. I feel like that's the best item of makeup that they make, is just like base products. So I was really excited when they came out the luminous version of the Flawless Foundation. I was using that foundation for a bit of time, and it just really didn't do anything for me. For one, I feel like it transferred a lot, and that was like one of the main claims of the Laura Mercier matte foundation, that it was like completely budge proof, transfer proof, the longest wearing foundation ever, or at least that's what Tati said, but I don't know if either way, the luminous foundation I felt like broke down pretty quickly on my skin, and I don't produce oil. I don't know why it was just like looking like a greasy mess on me, but it just did not last very well on me. It wasn't the worst foundation I've tried by any means, but it also was not great. The most regrettable purchase of 2019. Why?
That is what I have to say. I'm sorry.
Dude, I really thought that the Melt Blueprint stack was just gonna be
my stack.
Because Melt had a bunch of different eyeshadow stack options, but the Blueprint stack, I felt like this one was the most unique in terms of color scheme. They have like the Rust stack, but that's all browns, which I probably would have gotten more use out of because literally I don't use this one. I don't think that the formula in the Melt stacks are as good as the palettes, and that was like the main thing that was my unexpected failure from them, was I heard amazing things about the Melt stacks. And I'd been talking endlessly about the Gemini palette when I got this one, so much so that somebody commented like, hey, just so you know, the palettes that you say are like the greatest formula ever, the stacks are even better. So I was like,
what? The stacks are even better?
They're not. I think I had very, very high expectations just going off of people's comments, and I was very disappointed in my stack experience, so I will regret this forever, but oops. Nude Sticks is a brand that I'd like to dabble into a little bit more. They are a little bit on the pricey side, so I only have one product from them right now, which is their Bondi bronzer. Love that. But of course, like, their whole thing is like pencils and like stick cream products. I've heard really good things about their lip products, so I tried out their gel lip color, and I love a good like juicy kind of glossy or just even like satin cream style lip. I didn't like it. I feel like it's kind of like a weirdly sticky lipstick formula. Normally when I think of like a gel balm, I feel like it's just going to be weightless on the lips, but the nude sticks, it just felt like very noticeable the whole time I was wearing it. Of course it wasn't the worst lipstick I've ever tried. That award goes to Too Faced Melted Latex, but oh god. Yeah, especially for the price that they're charging, I do not think those nude sticks lipsticks are by any means worth the hype. Speaking of balm, the worst foundation I've ever put on my face, hands down, is the Kevyn Aucoin Balm Foundation.
Y'all make me sick. Y'all make me...
Not only is it so expensive, I really expected to love this foundation just based on the linguistics of what they chose for their advertising. Silky balm foundation. How dare you describe something like that? That's so beautiful sounding. What they really should have said was crusty ass Sahara Desert, because my face looked... It is one of the driest, most matte, most unforgiving foundations I've ever tried out. Emphasized every bit of texture on my face, every pore. Didn't even like last that well either. For something so matte, it better stay on my face all day, and it was like breaking up. I don't know what was going on with that foundation, but it's one of the worst foundations I've ever seen and got very poor reviews. Rightly so. Colourpop Gimme More Pressed Highlighter Palette was something I was so excited about. It came out at the same time that the Colourpop Yes Please palette came out, which was their very first pressed eyeshadow palette, so I was just so thrilled about Colourpop in general at the time. And especially because I knew I loved Colourpop's highlighter formula in general, I was really excited about this. And also I was addicted to ABH Glow Kits at the time, so this was basically Colourpop's version of that, and I had the highest expectations possible. What Colourpop did to my heart that day was basically the equivalent of pushing me out of a plane. It just went boop. Those highlighters were the most glittery, chunky mess of a formula. It did have a bit of a bouncy texture to the touch, so I felt like they were going to be similar to the Colourpop Super Shocks, but it looked so dry on the cheekbone. It didn't sink into the skin like the Super Shocks did. I felt like it was just sitting on top in this like weird icy stripe of something I didn't want on my cheekbone at all. Of course, the glitter also emphasized like all my texture on my cheekbones, which I do have quite a bit of. It was just not the Colourpop that I know and love, and I think they've really improved their pressed highlighter formula over time, but that first foray into pressed highlighters, that was a rough time, baby. Raise your hand if you've ever been swindled by everybody talking about Natasha Denona's eyeshadows like it's literally the body of Christ, because it's not. Those eyeshadows, so expensive, so mediocre, in my honest and humble opinion. Again, like a lot of the products in this video, I don't think Natasha's eyeshadows are awful. Like, they're definitely not the worst formula I've ever tried, but especially around the time that I was getting into makeup, people were talking about those eyeshadows like they were the greatest thing on God's green earth. They're nothing like that. They are nothing of the sort. I think they're way overhyped, and she is amazing at creating beautiful color schemes. I think that is the strongest part of Natasha Denona, but I think her formula is nothing special. Same with Viseart, honestly. Come for me, baby.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Alright guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you to everybody who suggested it, because it was a very, very fun thing for me to think about, and I honestly wouldn't have even thought about doing this video if you guys hadn't suggested it. So keep the ideas coming, honestly, because I'm getting burnout. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed down below, and also follow me on Instagram to see makeup looks like this posted whenever. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you get the bonus meme. I love you a lot. Seriously. Not kidding. Goodbye.